Hello there, Starseeds, and welcome to Ascension 17 Livestream. I am here today to do a very special tarot reading for 2021. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cynthia Clark, and I am a love and ascension coach, helping people to ascend to become their infinite light. So ultimately, part of ascending is getting to knowing yourself better. And tarot is an ascension tool that can help you to do that. So we can make predictions using tarot cards, but keep in mind too that the timelines can change and situations can change because, of course, it's a fluid uh, universe out there, right? So timelines can definitely shift based upon the collective decisions that we make together. So I like to use tarot as a guideline rather than a hard and fast, uh, permanent kind of a thing. Okay, so just keep that in mind as we go through our reading today. But I would like to do a spread, is what I call it. And it's when we pull multiple cards, we shuffle the deck once and we pull multiple cards to do a reading. One of the most famous spreads is called the Celtic Cross. I'm actually not going to be doing that one today, but that's a really good one to do. It's a 10-card spread. It's quite in depth. When I do readings for people, I will sometimes do that spread. It's the most famous of all the spreads. But you can make up your own spreads too, and that's what I'm doing for today. Because I want to draw it in terms of ascension. So we're going to be looking at how can we raise our vibration. Well, in fact, I'll just read to you what it is I'll be pulling cards on. Okay, so we're going to be looking at your current energy. So this will be the collective energy of everybody who is watching this broadcast. What needs to change the most in order to raise your vibration? Okay, so we'll be talking about what things can we actually do. Karmic influences. Okay, so as a collective, what karma are we neutralizing in 2021? What to focus on in 2021? What is your greatest priority? Okay, as a starseed, as a light worker, as someone who is looking to make the shift into the next dimension. What is the near future? Okay, so this will be probably the most set in terms of when we look at near future, the timelines are more set. Message from your spiritual team. We're going to pull in a message from the angels, spirit guides, spirit realm. How to access higher states of love. This is definitely very important right now. There's a lot of, you can focus on the doom and gloom, which I don't recommend, or you can focus on the light. And so how do we focus on the light? And what is the overall 2021 outlook? Okay, so this is going to be the longer term spiritual forecast. And ultimately, this reading is designed to give you a perspective so that you can make better decisions in your life for the coming year. So, like I said, this will be a collective reading. Of course, personal readings can differ. And that's why we do consult the tarot on a personal basis as well. And if you're interested in that, you can just go to ascension17.com. I've created a whole beautiful membership inside there called the Sphere of Infinite Light, where we do stuff to teach you things like how to read tarot so you can do a reading for yourself. But yeah, so we are going to use. Now, I have about 60 decks, just so you know. I love collecting decks. I collect tarot decks as well as oracle decks. So first of all, what is the difference? Okay, so a tarot deck is going to have 78 cards in it, typically, and it has a very specific structure to it. There are 22 major arcana cards, which I wrote about in my book, Stories in Your Hands. Discover Your Authentic Destiny Using Palmistry and Tarot. So that book, I talked about the major arcana cards, the 22 archetypes, and I tied it together with palmistry. And then, of course, the remainder is called the minor arcana, and those reflect in the four suits. So now different tarot decks can use different names for the suits. So traditionally, it was the swords, the pentacles, the cups, and the wands. Okay, but today I'm using a slightly alternative deck called the Voyager Tarot. It's a deck by James Wanless. It's a beautiful deck, and I love the outside of this deck because it's got a DNA strand that is representing here in the center. So this was actually one of my first tarot decks that I ever got, and I still use it pretty much every day. So what's the difference? So an oracle deck will be basically any number of cards, okay, from typically 44 cards to, it could even be more than 78 cards, just depending on the deck. But it doesn't follow the traditional kind of tarot format. So there may not be a major arcana section. They may not be numbered. There's a lot of variations in decks. And it doesn't mean that one deck is better or worse than another. It gives you variety. So some decks are designed to give answers to specific types of life situations, and other decks are meant to be more general. Tarot is good because it gives you can do a wide variety of readings with tarot, and it's got a lot of richness and depth to it. So, okay, so this is the deck that I'm using, the Voyager Tarot today. And let's go ahead and shuffle. So I'm not doing this in advance in any way. This is live. We're just going to see what comes up. And I do readings for myself pretty much every single day in the morning. It's one of my rituals to have with my coffee. And I like to just tune in. Usually I do meditation after I do my cards and my coffee. Sometimes I'll do meditation first thing in the morning as well, or I'll do meditation at night before I go to bed. So just depending on my schedule is when I fit in my meditation. I do try to meditate every single day because it is such a beautiful way to tap into your higher self and, again, get answers in Ascension. Okay. After I shuffle the deck, I always hold my hand over the deck. So I'll kind of lower this down a little bit so you can see. Everybody does it their own way. Okay. So if you feel like you want to do it differently, this is just how I do it. I like to hold my hand over the deck and tune in, and it knows that I'm doing this Ascension roadmap. So, but we're reminding our higher self that that's the answers we're looking for. And then I cut the deck. I cut it once because that's just my way of doing it. Okay. So again, you can do it any way you like. Everybody develops their own way of doing cards. Okay. So card number 1. Okay. Your current energy. And I'm going to show you the cards as they come out. By the way, some people do read inverts, and I am one of those people. So if the card were to come in upside down, I would read it differently than if it were to come in upright. In this case, we've got the Chariot, card number 7, a major arcana card. And this is definitely upright. Okay, this is representing your current energy. Okay, so the chariot represents movement. Okay, this is also my hand shape archetype. Okay, so your hands representing the 22 major arcana cards, each different hand shape has a representation in the tarot. So this is represented by short fingers, long palm, and a dominant index finger. Okay, that's how you can identify if you're a chariot hand. So the energy is saying that you are moving forward, things are moving swiftly. This is a time for action. This is a time for um, balancing your mental and emotional sides. Okay, so this is in terms of ascension, we're merging our mental and emotional sides together in order to move forward with ease. So if you're out of harmony in your head or in your heart, it's time to get back into harmony so that you can move forward. Okay, so that is your current energy. Okay, I like that. That shows that maybe you've been stuck in 2020, and a lot of people have felt very stifled and can't wait for this year to be over. If you're one of those people, this is saying that the energy is moving, so that's exciting. Okay, so the next card we are going to pull is what needs to change the most. In other words, what is your next step to raise your vibration? And the card coming up is the inverted Eight of Wands. Okay, so the card's message on here is harmony. The Eight of Wands, this is a spirit card. So this is about, I love this. It's got little instruments all over it, and it's got a rainbow, two rainbows actually, and it's got a pathway leading forward. So when you are out of harmony spiritually, you will make decisions that are not in alignment with ascension. So you will choose low vibrational thoughts, low vibrational feelings. You may have like festering energy in your field. This is your spirit card, right? So it's about getting in tune with your spirit and really tapping into what is harmonious for you and actually taking action every single day in that is in alignment with you. Okay, so your spirit knows harmony, right? And playing beautiful music. Here we can do that right now. In fact, I've got my little crystal bowl. Let's just play this for a second, right? Here, let me hold it like this. Hmm. Yeah, that's going to help align you. So play some music, everybody, and preferably something like a nice bowl or something soothing. Okay. Also, there is nature in this picture. Okay, so we've actually got, looks like the Grand Canyon in the background. I live in Sedona, Arizona, so I feel like I'm in nature all the time, which is beautiful. But your spirit wants to connect to nature as well. So it's important for you to, even if you can't do it physically, your spirit wants to connect to earth, wants to connect to Mother Nature. So make sure that when you take a little bit of time out each day to just focus on your breathing, take a deep breath in. And when you exhale, think about a beautiful place that is important to you, that's connecting to nature. Okay, so this is what needs to change. Okay, so it's time to give up the low vibrations, anything that is out of harmony with your spirit. Essentially, you need to start living that higher dimensional reality now, okay, regardless of what's going on around you. Okay, so the next card we're going to look at is the karmic influences. And this is going to be karma that you are neutralizing in 2021. And we're getting the Four of Worlds. Okay, this is the commencement card. This is the world card is like the pentacles. Okay, so we've got, like I said, this deck is slightly different than a traditional tarot card in that sometimes they rename the minor arcana. This one is called the worlds, which is the physical. Okay, so the 4 is representing a new type of stabilization, and commencement is saying to start what it is that you know you need to do. Okay, so we've got the ram, we've got a sunrise, we've got the planet Mars, I believe, is in this picture. We've got a deer. The deer is the pathfinder. Okay, so we are moving into a new way of doing and being. Okay, so in terms of karmic neutralization, we're starting something new, 2021. If you add those numbers up, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1, you get the number 5. And 5 represents change. Okay, so we are moving into a year of change and excitement. And the 4 of worlds is saying to go ahead and get started. This is also about building up your power, your personal power, because a lot of times we've been giving our power away, right? That's what the victimization energy is all about. Anytime you blame somebody else, blame the planet, blame the world, blame your neighbor. That's victim energy. And this card is saying that our karmic neutralization is that it's time for us to all take responsibility for what we've created on this planet, because ultimately the external, what we see in the world, is based upon what we have felt and thought and created inside of ourselves. So it's super important for us to take ownership of what we've created in this world and start to shift it into what it is that we want to create in the future. Okay, so that's what this card is all about. So taking ownership and taking responsibility for our collective choices. Okay, so that's why I am choosing to do this channel. That's why I'm trying to help you to take back your personal power and know that you can change your life for the better. You can become your infinite light by owning that and stop giving your power away to everybody. Okay, it's nobody's fault. And yet it's all of our faults, right? Okay, that's what the karma is all about. That's what's balancing. Okay, so the next card number 4, and remember we're doing 8 cards. What to focus on in 2021? What is your greatest priority? And we are getting the inverted 10 of cups. Okay, this is the passion card. I'll turn it right side up so that you can see the beautiful card. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. It represents emotions. The cup card is always going to be emotional. Passion. Hey, that's my life purpose. So I don't know if I'm influencing this at all. I probably am. But again, this is a collective reading. So again, passion is tapping into your left Jupiter finger. Okay, this does show up in your hands, and you can see the quality. If you want to take a look at your own hands, see the quality of your left index finger. Do you have any horizontal lines running through this finger? Okay, if you do, that is going to represent a blockage. Particularly, I want you to look at the lower section. I've got a ring on. Let me just take this ring off so you can see the lower section and closer to the middle finger. Okay, so the bottom phalange, which is your zone of boundaries, and we want to look at that Jupiter. That's called your Jupiter heart chamber. Okay, so take a look at that and see if you have any horizontal lines running through it, or if you have vertical lines running through it, would be an opening. Horizontal lines represent blockages. Okay. And those are changeable. Okay. So this is, again, this reading is fluid. Okay. So what are we trying to tap into? We are trying to tap into our passion. What are you really passionate about? And the way that you can identify that is looking at what is it that you focus on every single day of your life. From the time you get up to the time you go to bed, I want you to take stock of what it is that are your repetitive thoughts, what are your repetitive feelings, in order to really live a life that you want to live. You need to be passionate. You need to get excited about something. And that something needs to be in alignment with your spirit, with your soul. Otherwise, it's probably not going to work. Okay, so it's more than your personality. So the tens, I would always think of as new beginnings. So again, we are moving into a new beginning with the new year, right? And it's inviting you to focus on what you're really passionate about. And if you're currently focusing on fear or doom and gloom or negativity or blaming somebody of something, again, I would ask you to refocus that energy into what gets you excited, what makes you happy, what we're trying to access those higher states of love. Remember, that's part of ascension. Okay, so really taking back your personal power. By the way, I wear a ring on my left Jupiter finger pretty much every day. Right now, I've got a beautiful opal ring because that is helping me to tap into my emotions. It brings intensity to your emotions. So that's what the opal does. Different types of crystals do different things. Okay, so let's move on to the next card, shall we? We've got the near future is our next card. Okay, so this is going to be a forecast that is going to be very difficult to change because it's close. The closer we are to the future, the less likely it is to change. And we are getting the inverted Six of Wands. Okay, again, a Wands card is a spirit card. Okay, this card is about trust. It's saying that you don't trust, or we collectively do not trust. And this is a spirit message too. It's saying, what is it that you don't trust? Well, there's a lot of things to not trust out there right now. There's so much crap and lies out there right now that it is difficult to actually know what to believe. This is when it's very, very important to tap back into spirit and really ask yourself what is important for you right now in this moment. What can you do as an individual? And what I have done is I have decided to create a grid. And I've talked about this in other videos, but I created an ascension grid for enlightenment. So I did a whole crystal grid helping people to become enlightened. And ultimately, that's what this card is all about. We need to be able to trust again. We need to be able to see the truth again. And we're just not doing it yet. Okay. So unfortunately, that's a bit of a challenge. But life is not without challenges, right? We're all here to learn. And part of ascension is also learning your lessons. So moving on to the next card, the message from your spiritual team. Okay, this is what they want you to know right now. We've got the Child of Cups is our card coming up. The feeler. Okay, so the universe is basically telling you that good news is coming. Go ahead and be childlike, be playful, have fun, tap into your emotions. What are the playful emotions? What can you do right now to feel more playful? And something that I chose to do recently was to play more with my husband. um, because he's a lot of fun. And he's naturally youthful. And so he's always bringing me back into being less serious and just, it's like, well, let's go play. So that's ultimately what your spirit guides want you to know, is that you can go ahead and have fun, because what that does is that raises the vibration, right? When you're having fun and you're playing. Um, and this also applies to your work. Okay. So you may say, oh, well, that's great for you, Cynthia. You can just go out and play whenever you want. But I've got to work. I've got responsibilities. Well, ultimately, we all have responsibilities, and you can play even at work. Okay. So I used to own a restaurant back in the early 2000s, and it was a lot of work. Okay. Anybody who knows anything about restaurants knows that it's a ton of work. And I used to do easily 10 to 14-hour days, and I would be exhausted by the end of the day. But what I did was I tried to play with the customers who came in every day. And it's like, okay, how can I make this person smile, or how can I make this person laugh a little bit? Maybe they just need to be in my own energy, because just being you opens up the energy, right? So we want you in your best light. So the Child of Cups is saying, you got this. Just play, have fun, look for the rainbows. If it just rained, look for the rainbows. If you have a lemon, what do they say? They say make lemonade. There's always a positive side to there's the yin and the yang of everything, right? The giving and the receiving. Okay. Next card, we are on number 7. How to access higher states of love. Okay, the card coming up is the 8 of Cups. Now, this is the stagnation card. Okay, this is, we've got dying flowers, we've got, basically putrid decay all over this card. Okay, this is a Cups card again. This is about emotions. So, how can we access higher states of love? We need to get into our emotional realm. We need to allow ourselves to feel the stagnation. So, yeah, 2020, ugh, was it putrid or what? For most people, it was a horrible year. For most people, it was a real eye opener to the swamp, the crap, the junk that is out there. And this world is not the most pure and pristine place to be in third dimensional reality, especially. There's a lot of crap going on out there, and I've been paying close attention to a lot of it myself. This card is saying that we must acknowledge the crap, the negative emotions, the putrid essence of our lower vibrational emotional states, the fear, the anxiety, the stress. We need to acknowledge it in order to move beyond it. So, whatever it is that you've been going through this year, I want you to go ahead and allow yourself to feel whatever it was or is, if it's still going on, and love yourself regardless. Okay, so this is how we access higher states of love. 8 is a transformation number. It is about transcending this stagnation state. So if you just bury the feeling, that is not going to work, right? Because what does it do? It manifests itself as illness. It manifests itself as a discomfort. We stay in the discomfort if we don't acknowledge it. So it is important for us to acknowledge our feelings and to allow ourselves to feel fully whatever it is that we're feeling, so that we can then move on. Let me just give you an example here. I am a very sensitive person, for those of you who don't know me. And I've been known to cry in public. Okay. That definitely has happened more than once. um, and it can be embarrassing, right? It can be really like, oh, I'm going to hold this in. I'm upset, but I'm going to hold it in. Crying is actually a way of releasing, right? How do you feel after you cry? You feel amazing, right? You feel so much better. You feel like, wow, I'm okay. So I want you to go ahead and just be appropriate with your feelings in the best way that you can be. But I do want you to fully feel whatever it is you're feeling. Okay. Because that's how you're going to move out of the stagnation. Okay. So if you're sad, go ahead and cry. If you're angry, go ahead and yell, preferably in a place where people aren't going to hear you, or maybe yell into a pillow. That's what I mean by appropriate. Don't just, you know, don't just blurt it out in the middle of the grocery store necessarily. Okay. But yeah, it is important for you to get your feelings out. And that's the way to move into a new space. And ultimately, the Eight of Cups is about a spiritual transformation. And so by feeling those feelings, we move into a new state of being, and we're accessing those higher states of love. Okay. Our last card, number 8, is your overall outlook for 2021. And we are getting the Hanged Man. Okay, this is card number 12. This is a major arcana card. And the Hanged Man, now he wants to be upside down, okay? So don't think that he's like being hung. A lot of people have a misperception around this card. This is actually a positive card, especially when it is upright, as it is, just like with our first card, right? The Chariot. The Hanged Man is really about, well, traditionally it was about the god Odin, who willingly gave up his eye to see the truth beyond. Okay, so he wanted the wisdom of the universe. And so they hung him up in a tree so that he could see that. So he needed to pause in his forward movement in order to get a different perspective. And the Hanged Man does have to do with a change in perspective. So 2021 is going to show us a completely different perspective. So if you think 2020 was difficult, 2021 is going to open our eyes to something new because we're suddenly upside down. By the way, I also recommend hanging upside down occasionally because it activates your pineal gland and it can help increase your intuition. So that is something that, if you don't know that, that's why yogis do it. And it's a good thing to do. And it also just gives you that different perspective. Also, this card is representing sacrifice, right? It's saying sometimes we have to sacrifice something in order to get something better. And that is what this card is all about. It's like, okay, we know we have to give up our old way of being. We know we have to give up our old way of doing things. Our third dimensional reality is no longer working. We are moving into a higher dimensional plane. And in order to do that, we need to be more loving. We need to access those higher states of love. We need to forgive. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to love ourselves. We need to be in our own power. We need to take responsibility for our contributions in this world. We need to look at what we have done personally and collectively. And we need to take a stance in what do we want to create. And so this card is ultimately about surrendering to the higher realms because you are fully supported in the higher realms. Meditate, do the things like I was saying in earlier in the reading. Take responsibility for yourself and your own energy field. Let yourself grieve whatever it is that you need to do in order to move out of it. But 2021, mark my words, is going to be different. and we are going to see things a lot differently. So that is our 2021 Ascension Roadmap for the collective. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you are interested in learning more about Ascension, like I said, you can go to ascension17.com and join our Sphere of Infinite Light membership. I actually do coaching twice a month in a live format like this. You can also learn all sorts of Ascension tools in the membership. I've got lessons in palmistry, lessons in tarot, lessons in balancing your energy field, tapping into your DNA. We talk about dreams. We talk about numerology and astrology. All of those things can help guide you in your pathway. And I've been doing this for a very long time. And it is my passion to assist people like you in reaching your full potential. So if you're with me and you're on this road of ascension, please join me. And I've also got a free gift for everybody if you want to find out about the first step in ascension and how to take that step. You can join my newsletter, and I've got a free video series on that. So thank you so much for joining me today. I will do another live stream next week. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it on Tuesdays, but I will post the date once I decide for the month of January. And as always, remember to embrace your infinite light. And thank you so much for being here. Have a beautiful day.